Superman Lost issue 4 heads back in time to the day Clark was gifted his costume by Ma Kent, prompting him to sit alone in his room in silence as his parents wonder why he's been up all night. Jonathan thinks that she should have waited till morning to give Clark the suit, as in the present, Lois wakes Clark up. Clark apologizes, telling her that he spent days practicing holding his breath and he's had to do it a lot. Lois hugs him, telling him that there is plenty of air on Earth and all he has to do is breathe. On the planet Kansas, a mountaineer climbs the massive ice wall on the planet, making it to the top of the dead zone. The being runs towards some fields, hoping that he can find his man before the citizens do, since spending 18 months in prison for violating border zones will be a bad way to end this. Suddenly he slams into the Kent Farm postbox, finding that Superman has built a replica of his parents' home there on the planet. Clark knows that he won't need his translator since the man's language is easy to pick up, citing the man is from Newark. The man removes his mask and reveals that they met years ago, as Clark recognizes him as Jimmy, warning him to keep his mask on since it's all polluted by oxygen up here and he's a CO2 breather. Jimmy tells him of rumors on the tapestry that a god was living in the dead zone, but Clark reminds him that he's not a god. Jimmy queries him as to why he is there, and Clark thinks that that's quite a good question. Clark tells him that he hitched a ride on a comet that was moving in the right direction, and the trip allowed him to reflect on what happened as he tries to activate the Marquis system, but finds the device is long dead. Clark tells the dead device that if nothing else, it was at least company for him in the lone void of space. He thinks of the survival pack and how it contained a really precious commodity, his sanity, something that he took for granted until he lost it. Luckily, Superman is able to use his powers to focus on where it is, allowing him to depart the comet for the pack, hoping that he's not chasing another Echo. Jimmy asks how he found his way back to the planet though, and Clark tells him it's not by how, but why. Clark tells him that he was flying blindly through a nebula and his suit's power was draining fast, all in search of a silly little backpack. He thinks about how selfish that was, that he was using his powers for that and not helping people as he found the pack, diving into it and retrieving his supersuit. He reveals to Jimmy that space has a heartbeat thanks to the pulsars, quasars, storms, and many other things in it. So if you close your eyes, your ears will let you see them all. He says that his mother helped him make his uniform for a reason, to help people who need helping and to save people who need saving. And this far out, he doesn't know what to listen for in order to get back to Earth, but he knows what to listen for Kansas. He reveals that it took him 2 years to get back to the planet, and Jimmy knows that he's been on the world performing miracles out in Newark at night where no one can see him, but Clark says that he's just helping out, bringing medicine and food to those who need it since he can help and it's their obligation to do so, and now Jimmy has to as well since he's traveled halfway across the world and risked his life to find a man he met for 30 seconds when he was a child. Clark figures that something must be going on in Newark, so he goes to see Victor, demanding to know what is going on in the city. Clark discovers an alien invasion is happening and slowly taking apart the city. He watches the aliens' machines take the vehicles and buildings, knowing while his solar suit will only give him about half of his power, he will still help since if anyone can help, it's their obligation to do so. Superman smashes through the ships, confronting the alien invaders and demanding they power down their weapons. He destroys one more ship before the orange aliens tell him to stop. Clark recognizes Max, a member of the Contractiado, who says that Clark still owes him 3,200 credits and now a new recovery ship. Clark asks why he's attacking these people and why they are destroying their homes, making Max stop and look, finding that he is noticing that there are people down in the city, thinking that he must have missed an important email. Clark asks if he always emails before invasions, but Max reveals this isn't an invasion, they have a contract with Victor. Renee confronts Victor, learning how the scavenger race take any and all abandoned structures, waste, and decommissioned vehicles, and the Republic is 100% renewable, so they have nothing they could give the scavengers. Superman figures that Victor gave them Newark instead, but the man says it wasn't his to give, since the Republic is ruled by the people, whereas the Zealots choose their own destiny. Clark implies that they are being lied to and misled, and Victor knows that they prefer it, revealing that they proposed a planetary defense system, but the Arcasians voted it down, just like they did with the space program, mental safeguards, and even school lunches. And even despite the ice caps melting and sinking their lands, the Zealots refused to move, even when the Republic issued a warning about the scavengers coming, since they would never listen to the Republic. Superman thinks that the Republic's tech could help out, but Victor reminds him that that would deprave the Zealots of their civil liberties, and they have a right to not suffer the Zealots' ignorance as well, hence why they voted them out and left them to die in their mud like they want to. Victor thinks that with ships with star drives arriving on the world thanks to the scavengers, Superman can finally go home. Superman confronts Max, telling him that he could save these people and relocate them to a healthier planet, but Max reminds him that the star the planet orbits is unstable and will soon explode, and despite them literally landing their ship in the city and beginning their mission, the Zealots think that they are just a hoax generated by the Republic to get them relocated. Max thinks that Superman has to face that some people just can't be helped, but once they are done there, he will take Superman back to his world, or at least try and see if they can find it. Superman refuses to abandon these people since he did it once before, and he will never do it again. Max's people surround Superman with their weapons, reminding the hero that he is only one person, and there are many of them. A voice begs to differ as above the confrontation, a Green Lantern has arrived on the planet to help Superman.